Hi guys. Okay, we're on the last section of dividing rational expressions. I have a few problems to do, and then we're going to be done with this, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you need to do at the end of this. Okay, so here we go. Remember, when we're dividing, what I have to do is I need to take the reciprocal of the second fraction, and then I'm going to turn it into a multiplication problem. So it's basically what we've been doing in the multiplying rational expressions, except for the one minor thing when I take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and factor. Remember, the main thing about this is factoring. So I want to factor, and then I'm going to make ones. So here I go. What can I take out of 6x squared and 36x? I can take a 6x out. So if I take a 6x out of 6x squared, I get left with x. And if I take a 6x out of 36x, I get a 6. And then I take the reciprocal, so it's going to be times 2x squared all over 4x times the top. When I take the reciprocal, the factor of this, I think I can take a 4 out of there. 4 times x plus 6. Now I want to see if I can make some ones here. So let's do this. Let's do the numbers first. So 2 goes into 2 one time and into 4 2 times. And then 2 goes into 2 one time and into 6 3 times. Okay. And then I have an x on bottom and an x on top. And I have an x plus 6 and a x plus 6. And I think that about does it. So what is left in our numerator? It looks like I have 3x squared. And in the denominator, it looks like I have a 4. So 3x squared divided by 4. Okay? Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We have more to factor. As we move on, it looks like we have more and more to factor. So let's see. Our top left one says I need two numbers that multiply to be negative 14 and add to be 5. Well, I'm pretty sure that's 7 and 2 multiply to be negative 4. Well, multiply to be 14, so negative 14. Because the 5 is positive, that means the lower number is going to be negative, or the bigger number is going to be positive. So that gives me y plus 7 times y minus 2. And then I'm taking the reciprocal of this. So 3y doesn't need to be factored. And then 9y doesn't need to be factored, but I need two numbers that multiply to be 12 and add to be negative 8. How about negative 6 and negative 2? So that would be y minus 6 and y minus 2. Okay, so let's make a 1. Well, 3 goes into 3 once and into 9 3 times. Y goes into y 1 time. Y minus 2 and y minus 2. So in my numerator, I'm going to get y plus 7. And in my denominator, I'm going to get 3 times y minus 6. And I can write it this way, or I can write it as y plus 7 over 3y minus 18. Either one is acceptable. There you go. Okay. There we go. Number 14. So we're going to take the reciprocal. And we're going to factor. So I want two numbers that multiply to be negative 15 and add to be negative 2. Well, the two numbers that multiply to be negative 15 are 5 and 3. And since this is a negative, that means the 5 is a negative. So I've got x minus 5 times x plus 3. and I'm taking the reciprocal, so the x minus 2 comes to the top. And then I've got an x minus 2 in the denominator. And I need to factor this now. So it'll give me two numbers that multiply to be 25 and add to be negative 10. So I'm going to say negative 5 and negative 5. Minus 5 times x minus 5. Okay, so let's see. I've got an x minus 5 on top and on bottom. And an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. So I've got x plus 3 over x minus 5. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Same thing all over again. Here we go. Okay. 6, I can factor out a 6. And I get left with x plus 1. And if I factor out this, I can factor out a 2 and get left with x minus 1. Now I'm going to factor this, so I need two numbers that multiply to be 2 and add to be 3. Well, that's 2 and 1. So I already have an x minus 1. So I'm going to do x plus 2 times x plus 1. Now I want to make 1. So I have an x plus 1, x plus 1, x minus 1, x minus 1. So I should have a 12 in my numerator and an x plus 2 in my denominator. Okay, good job, guys. Number 16. Again, slightly more advanced, just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we've got this. So b plus 4, there's nothing to factor out. And once I take the reciprocal, I've got b minus 8, both in the numerator. And then I need two numbers that multiply to be negative 16 and add to be negative 6. So negative 16, I'm going to say 8 and 2, and that should be negative 8. So b minus 8 times b plus 2. And then I'm going to factor a 2 out, and I get b plus 4. Okay, so b minus 8, that makes a 1. b plus 4, that makes a 1. So my answer should be 1 over 2 times b plus 2, or 1 over 2b plus 4. Okay, beautiful. There you guys go. Beautiful. Okay. Two more problems, I think. I think that's it. Okay, a little bit harder. So again, I know that the top left is going to factor the ones. It's going to be a plus. Well, it could be a minus 1 and a minus 1, so I'm not going to put any signs in yet. I'm just going to say 1 and 1. That's ones I know for sure. And then this is going to, I'm going to take the reciprocal. So if I factor this, it's going to take an x out, and I get x plus 5. And then in my denominator, I have an x plus 5 already. And I have a 3x plus 1. Well, I'm going to be willing to bet that I'm going to have a 3x and a 3x. And since I have a plus 1 in the bottom, I'm going to say a plus 1 and a plus 1. And you can test it on the side. How do we test it? We multiply it out. 3x plus 1 times 3x plus 1. So 9x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 1 gives me 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. So yeah, we've got the right answer. So 3x plus 1, 3x plus 1, x plus 5, x plus 5. So my answer is going to be x times 3x plus 1, or 3x squared plus x. There you go. Okay, beautiful. One more problem. And we're done for the week. Yeah, well, done with the lesson for the week. The video part, yes. So we're going to take the reciprocal. So I've got 9x cubed times, give me two numbers, multiply to be 8, add to be negative 9. Well, I'm going to say negative 8 and negative 1. So x minus 8 times x minus 1. And then in the bottom, I think I can take an x out. Ooh, I think I want to factor this here really quick. I think I can take an x out of here, and I'm going to get x squared minus 1. So I know I have an x. And then what multiplies to be negative 1 adds to be 0. Well, 1 and negative 1. So x plus 1, x minus 1. And then this does not need to be factored, so I have x minus 8. So if I make some 1s here, I've got x minus 8, x minus 8, x minus 1, x minus 1. 1x here, that I have 3, so that will become 2. So my answer should be 9x squared over x plus 1. There you go. Okay, guys, just so you know, there are sometimes on the homework, on the Delta Math, which you now have a Delta Math for 9.3 and 4 combined together because they didn't have ones individually, so you just have one assignment for both of those in Delta Math. So you have one Delta Math this week. There are a little bit slightly harder problems maybe in a few of them. So we have done, Miss Martinova has done just like a practice, some examples on a worksheet, on a Word document, and I am uploading those as an example that you can open up and look at. If you have any questions, just let me know, or let her know, or Mr. Call know. Whoever your teacher is, let them know. We will be glad to help you out with that if you have any questions about that. Don't forget to do, there will be a quiz at the, let's see, yes, there will be a quiz at the end of this week. Don't forget to do that. I hope that you remember to do your quiz at the end of last week. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of this lesson. Good job, you guys. Keep working hard. Keep asking questions. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Talk to you later. Bye.